Dubbing a TV show is a hard job. You have to take a show made for one region and somehow make it play well in a completely different culture. This leads to stuff like censorship, banned episodes, and other changes to the show that'll annoy fans. Messing with in-episode content is understandably frowned upon, but one aspect of dubbing that makes a lot of sense is changing the theme song. Say you're dubbing a Japanese anime into English. You might want to change the opening from Japanese to English to make it more marketable for your audience. A dub could use a translated version of the original song, an instrumental to circumvent the problem entirely, they could rewrite the lyrics, or do what we'll be discussing today, create an entirely new theme song made specifically for their audience. Foreign content and dubs have always been interesting to me. Korean Burger King? Very cool, I'd love to go. That interest likely stemmed from when I was younger, looking up my favorite shows online. I'd stumble onto these multi-language compilation videos that would play, say, the same show's theme song from various dubs. Throughout those compilations, there sometimes would be a song that's completely different from the rest. Those are the theme songs we'll be talking about today. Over here in America, you'll click on one of those try not to sing cartoon theme song videos, and they'll be playing the Buzz on Maggie theme song, and it's like, okay, sure, but an Italian version of that video, you're not winning that fight. So today, we'll be taking a look at these alternate foreign openings, the people behind them, physical releases of them you can collect today, and much more. This is a look at international cartoon openings and theme songs from around the world. Let's begin. The first country that really amazed me with their catalog of dubbed openings was Italy. Not only thanks to a majority of their theme songs being original, but a majority of those original songs, they're all techno dance songs. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them are. I love techno music. Toy Box, Aqua, Smile DK, basically anything a singing bootleg Pikachu plush would play, I'm a huge fan of it. And I assume due to Eurodance being very popular in, well, Europe, and dance music in general being easily marketable to the audiences of these shows, a lot of these theme songs ended up being in that genre. And looking back at it now, it's amazing. Basically, imagine being a kid in Italy who just wants to watch some Yu-Gi-Oh! And then the equivalent of Alice DJ Better Off Alone starts playing. Seriously, listen to these. First off, it seems to me that these singers really knew the amazing opportunity they had. They got to sing in front of some of the most popular cartoons of their time. Not only is that a great way to get your name out there, but these songs were destined to become iconic and always remembered. They took that and ran with it. Those who were behind these songs are actual musical geniuses. Someone somewhere once said, well, what are we gonna do for the Italian opening of Dexter's Lab? And they all said, yeah, we got this. I think the first Italian opening I ever found was the one for My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, and of course after that, my life was never the same. This theme unfortunately was only used for Season 1, being later replaced with an Italian version of the original opening. For these international theme songs, sometimes they were only used on the original broadcasts, or maybe the first dub. There are a lot of variations to consider when researching these, as dubs can have revisions over time. The most well-known Italian opening outside of Italy is likely What's My Destiny Dragon Ball, the one for DBZ. This song, as is standard for these openings, sounds nothing like the Japanese original, and yet it has that same mysterious but warm and inviting tone as Shala Head Shala, somehow conveying similar emotions as that legendary song. You might be wondering why this song is called What's My Destiny Dragon Ball and not Dragon Ball Z. It's because when DBZ premiered in Italy, that was the name of the show. You can find the logo on toys and other promotional materials from Italy from the time. Since then, both names have been used for the Italian dub, but airings of the show as late as 2013 still use the name.
Per la prima volta su Boeing, What's My Destiny Dragon Ball, nuova serie, da lunedì al venerdì alle 17:30, un doppio episodio su Boeing!
That song was sung by Giorgio Vanni, and that's far from all he did. The same talent pool were behind the majority of the cartoon theme songs in Italy. So the same singer who sung the Dragon Ball openings also sung the Pokemon openings, who also sung the Cubix opening, who also sung the New Adventures of Lucky Luke opening.
Lucky, lucky, lucky Luke, lucky, lucky Luke, lucky, lucky, lucky Luke, lucky, lucky Luke.
Dragon Ball GT's Japanese opening, Dan Dan, is likely my favorite theme song of anything ever. GT is a show with a lot of misfortune in it. Goku's stuck being a kid, Earth is going to explode in a year, if that's not enough, Baby eventually makes Earth uninhabitable, and even after the day is saved, Goku still says goodbye to all the friends he's grown up with. And yet, every episode opens with a somber yet sincere love ballad, signifying that no matter how bad things may get, with the help of love and happiness, life will always be worth living. And so, while I may pledge my allegiance to Dan Dan, I will say the Italian opening, while maybe not being as symbolic, is also a bop. Let's talk a bit more about the singers themselves. The main two faces you'll see pop up are Giorgio Vanni and Cristina D'Avena. While some other singers have sung Italian openings as well, it's mostly these two. It seems these singers all worked for the same groups and channels, such as Mediaset. Mediaset's channels are the ones that had these openings. So if you see old screenshots of these shows with the Italia 1 or Mediaset logo in the corner, you know it started with the tunes. Giorgio Vanni sang openings such as the Dragon Ball ones, the Pokemon ones, Detective Conan, and much more. He had some attempts at music early in life, such as starting a band at age 13, but his career as we know it wouldn't begin until 1996, when he met musician Max Longhi. By the time they met, Max had already been composing music for cartoons. At the beginning of their partnership, they produced various short works. For example, you can hear Giorgio singing in the 1996 Always Coca-Cola ad campaign. In 1998, the two of them met the head of the boys' TV division at Mediaset, and with this connection, they got to work writing cartoon theme songs. Max was the one who suggested Giorgio sing the songs they were writing, an excellent choice by him. They debuted with their theme song for Superman in 1998, and the rest was history. Beyond the openings, these singers have done a lot. Giorgio and Max founded their own label, Lova Music, in 2002. In 2003, the duo wrote the song Super Lover, I Need You Tonight, sung by the band Winds, which went on to be a hit in Japan, going platinum. In 2016, when Mediaset bought the rights for Dragon Ball Super, it seems they commissioned Giorgio Vanni to sing a new theme song, but it was declined by Toei Animation, a sign of changing times. But even though it wasn't used for the actual dub, that song was still made and released, so we kinda do have an Italian Dragon Ball Super opening. The song was released the day the show premiered in Italy in December of 2016. Giorgio Vanni is still super involved with the community today, appearing in interviews and releasing new content. It's clear he's extremely passionate about his work and music as a whole, and that's something you can sense with all of these theme song singers. The other main face of Italian cartoon music is Cristina D'Avena, a singer, actress, and television personality who once again has sung the theme songs for more cartoons than you can count. Her first theme song was Bambino Pinocchio from 1981, the Italian opening for the 1976 anime Adventures of Pinocchio. She debuted in the music industry at age 3, but rose to popularity in the 1980s, thanks to her cartoon theme songs. She's also been in movies and TV shows, and she's even written a few books. Her music may be what she's known best for, but she's done so much more. She voiced Fairy Godmother in the Italian dub of Playmobil the Movie. Is there anything she can't do? Another really cool thing with these openings is that the singers would constantly collaborate. For the theme song of Rosanna, the Italian dub of Cadocia, Giorgio and Cristina sang their first cartoon duet.
Rosanna, il tuo cuore palpita, ma la tua pazienza scalpita, con tutta la tua vitalità. Rosanna, sei proprio una piccola star.
Italia 1 airings of Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog feature a theme song sung both by Cristina, as well as the dub's voice of Sonic, in addition to the chorus of little singers in My Land.
Sonic, sei più svelto di noi, e per questo arrivi dove vuoi.
Interestingly, the opening for the French Adventures of Sonic dub that aired on the channel TF1 also used this song, only, you know, in French.
Sonic, plus rapide que moi, plus malin, plus rusé, y'en a pas.
Here's a video of the singer of the French version singing the song live in 2021.
Sonic, allez accrochez-vous, tant pis si je cours plus vite que vous.
But just you wait, there's even more international Adventures of Sonic lore to never understand. In 1993, Cristina sung the Italian dub opening for the 1990 American cartoon Widget.
Dai Widget, resta per sempre qua. Dai Widget, arriva un po' di là. Dai Widget.
Now, here is the opening of the Castilian Spanish dub of Adventures of Sonic.
Oh Sonic, nunca te atraparán. Oh Sonic, siempre los vencerás.
You may notice, they use the same instrumentals. These were done by different dubbing studios in different countries, but it's not the only case like this. It's not as interesting, but the Castilian Spanish Super Mario Bros. Super Show opening is a translated version of the Italian opening.
Con Super Mario è necessario che il sogno sia realtà. Per Super Mario es necesario que uses tu gran poder.
So there was a connection between these two regions. We unfortunately don't see too many new Italian theme songs anymore, but even some of the later ones continued the legacy, like the Sonic X Italian theme. And Kirby Ray-Pac Etch's opening is iconic as well.
Allora salta sempre più in alto Kirby, prende il volo e rimbalzo Kirby, poi si lancia l'assalto e si trasforma Kirby.
These singers have large fan bases that continue to love their work to this day. Many people grew up hearing these songs every time they watched cartoons, which has led to massive fan bases in their region of origin. Due to their continued popularity, the singers, get this, perform the songs in concerts. Look at this. These are my people. You know, to those who grew up with these, it's gotta be strange hearing foreigners talk about them like this, when that's just how it's always been in Italy. I know it's common in places like Japan, but we really don't have many equivalents here in North America. Most theme songs are made for the show, and that's about it. It's not like Ariana Grande sang the Fanboy and Chum Chum theme song and now sings it at concerts. Avril Lavigne did sing a cover of the SpongeBob theme for the first movie, but I don't think that's ever been performed at a concert, unfortunately. And yet, over in Italy, yeah man, we're going to see the Lucky Luke theme live. Wanna join?
Lucky Luke, tutti all'altro. Come on, cowboys. Come on, cowboys.
If you believe it.
Naruto, believe it.
The original German Naruto opening has become infamous for, well, it doesn't really live up to the Japanese openings, that's for sure. But don't let this one example fool you. There are many German openings that are really great. A lot of the openings over there are German translated versions of the original songs, though they did tend to rewrite the lyrics and redo the instruments to make them sound different. But for the songs that were original, oh boy. There could be a million German Naruto openings, but with the sole existence of their original Sailor Moon opening, you can forgive them all. The Ruby Spears Mega Man opening is one of those classic cartoon themes people remember more than the show itself. The original song is iconic, but the German one takes it up to 11. On the topic of German song replacements, in the original German dub of Dragon Ball Z, the scene where Gohan turns Super Saiyan 2 for the first time, it doesn't use the awesome Japanese insert song Tamashi vs. Tamashi, nor does it use something like Gohan Angers. Instead, it uses its own instrumental insert song called Wings. France is a country that's offered lots of great original animation and cartoons, and their originality continues to their dubbed work as well. This is the French Sailor Moon opening, sung by Bernard Minet, who sung a lot of dub openings back in the day. France had a similar system as Italy, having the same few singers sing a lot of show openings. The French opening of Dragon Ball Z is also infamous, not due to it sounding necessarily bad, but because it just doesn't really fit the series. Its singer, Ariane Carletti, was another actress, television personality, and singer who, in addition to their solo work, sung a lot of French dub openings, working with the AB group. The tone of this song, though, quickly became unfitting as the series progressed. The song is one thing, the footage used though is also bizarre, and isn't a general overview of the series at all. Even the footage doesn't really match the song, seeing the characters caked in blood with this cheery music playing. But on its own, it's a nice sounding song, and it was a hit in France. Ariane unfortunately passed away on September 3rd, 2019, but her work will always be remembered. On another note, a dub's opening can be a good way to gauge the type of dub it is. Dubs that have new localized openings, like rap songs specifically, probably have a lot of differences from their original version, as that opening shows they really made an effort to localize it. If a dub has the original opening unchanged, or a translated cover, it's more likely to be fairly true to the original. Sonic X is a good example. The French and Korean dubs are very close to the Japanese version of the show, and they use translated versions of the original opening, Sonic Drive. This video is focusing on the original songs made for dubs, but that's not because translated theme songs can't also be great listens. Most of these lead to awesome sounding results. I love hearing how songs written for one language sound in another. It's great to hear a song you're familiar with in a new way. You're saying you don't listen to the Japanese version of Let It Go at least once a day? Yeah, doubt it. Giving your show a catchy theme song is beneficial in many ways. It gives your show something memorable that can spread around. Fans can recommend listening to the theme song, which promotes the show, and you can also sell the song separately, such as on CDs. That avenue was definitely taken by these artists and their respective labels. There are countless compilations that collect these cartoon openings, making for great memorabilia nowadays. For the Italian openings, the main compilation series you'll find seems to be this one called Fivelandia, whose releases ran from the 80s to the 2000s. The cover art for Fivelandia 18 features Christina, Sanakarada from Kadocha, Ash, Pikachu, and Goku, all on one cover. There is nowhere besides Fivelandia 19 where you'll see the Mega Babies and Monkey D. Luffy on the same product. This release, Cartoonlandia Boys from 2005, features a funky Johnny Bravo looking fella dancing on the cover. You gotta admit that is what you look like when you listen to these songs. This one even has the SpongeBob theme, with his own distinct legal info. SpongeBob didn't get a fancy new Italian opening. Its Italian dub used an instrumental of the normal theme song, for some reason. This one also has the Sonic X theme, so it's a truly hot collectible. It's even got The Simpson. The cover's pretty funny looking, but this is a great set. The iconic Pokemon To Be a Master album was the franchise's premier music CD, but it wasn't just released in America. The album had localized versions released in other countries, which included translated songs. The Italian release stands out as it includes some of the unique Italian openings. One of the most elusive Italian releases would be the Pokemon compilation CD from 2007, which had packaging you could take seriously, as well as all of the nostalgic Italian Pokemon songs in one snazzy-looking collection. The singers even today still release new CDs of their old work, so if you do want to support the singers, you can be on the lookout for new releases. But these older, strange-looking compilations are the real gems here. Listen, brother, if they ain't playing Pokemon and Dragon Ball Dance compilation at the club, then I'm not going. Some other releases to check out are the Cartoono 1 series, TV-landia, Super Cartoons, and every other release, honestly, they're all great. Cristina D'Avana had her own release of CDs with a title that translates to Cristina D'Avana and Your Friends on TV. The 19th installment released in 2006 is my favorite. It has the Kirby theme, Pokemon Advanced Battle, this really good Totally Spies song, and more. The 18th one, though, is the one that has the Dexter's Lab opening, so it's a pretty neck-and-neck battle between these two. If you're looking for other ways to support the singers nowadays, many of these albums have been put on music streaming platforms. Stream Super Mario today. These songs have also been compiled on many more dubious releases. It's kinda hard to tell which ones are bootleg, legally gray, or endorsed by the official groups, especially when dubbing and music licenses can already be hard to understand. But some of these unofficial releases can get pretty wacky. If you're in the market for best songs of all time, look no further than King Kong Compilation. This German release, Mega Man Dance, is official, but it's kinda hard to believe. It leads with the German Mega Man theme, but also includes songs like Sonic King of the Ring, a remix of American Pie, and Killing Me Softly, like the With His Song one, all featured on a Mega Man CD. There are also many cover albums that aren't dubious, instead being bands paying tribute to the songs they grew up with. Covers of some of these songs are in short supply, so this is a good way to stand out. There are some great covers of some of these songs on YouTube, but there should be more. And covers of Shala Head Shala are always appreciated, but covering What's My Destiny every now and then isn't the worst idea. Sometimes, dubs aren't based off of the original version of a show. Instead, its source is the show already dubbed. As in, the licensee in one country receives a version of a show that's already been modified as the basis of their version. Confusing, I know, but interesting. Modifications to aspects such as character names can be carried over, and naturally, alternate theme songs end up being used in multiple dubs. For example, various dubs of Dragon Ball Z are based off of the French dub, and as such use their own version of that opening. The French opening of the original Dragon Ball was used for a few dubs of that series, including one in English, which was used for the Canadian dub made by Blue Water Studios.
Dragon Ball, la quête finale, des 7 boules de cristal venues des étoiles.
Dragon Ball, the ultimate quest, searching for 7 crystal balls from the stars.
Several Sailor Moon dubs use the German opening as their base, which, I mean, I'd do the same. One very important part of dub making is sourcing. For the best dubs, you should source from the original country. Get an early generation copy, but that isn't always possible or optimal. Usually it ends up working out fine, but if a dub has a mistake in it, then that mistake will be carried over to other versions of the show. In the original version of the 4Kids opening of Sonic X, Gotta Go Fast, footage is naturally taken from the Japanese original, though moved around. In the original opening, this clip of Supersonic spinning into the camera is followed by a still of Chris Thorndike. That Supersonic clip is used in the 4Kids opening. If you go frame by frame in some releases, you can see that image of Chris on screen, even if just for one frame. Many of Sonic X's dubs are based off of the English version, and because of this, there was this epidemic of this one frame of Chris Thorndike appearing in all these international versions of Sonic X. Even the Persian dub, the unofficial one, if you check its opening, there's Chris. It's completely harmless. You'll only notice it if you know it's there, but I think it's pretty funny to see these small mistakes go so far. Researching dubs is a great hobby, as there is no way you'll ever run out of content to find. Here's a bunch of examples of openings from countries we haven't mentioned yet.
Take the Grand Tour, Grand Tour. Time is running out. GT!
We have to at least acknowledge American dub openings. Yes, some of them aren't remembered too well. Unfortunately, we couldn't all make amazing techno music. Most of our dub openings ended up being like the One Piece rap. But hey, sometimes we ended up with stuff like the American Witch opening, so it kinda balances out, right? We all know about the One Piece rap, but there was a time when we weren't going to get it. Early on, when 4Kids had just announced them dubbing One Piece, this English translated version of the original theme, We Are, was shown at a trade show. The recording we have of it isn't the best quality, but still pretty mind-blowing regardless.
One Piece.
Some of the other international One Piece openings are actually good, even beyond the Italian one, such as the first one from the Korean dub. Dubs from the Middle East are a huge topic on their own. Spacetoon's history of airing shows is a fascinating one, and their ongoing legacy is huge. As is standard, Arabic dubs can have both brand new or translated openings. For their dub of Dragon Ball, this original song was created. This same song ended up being used for all airings of classic Dragon Ball on Spacetoon. This theme song is integral to those who grew up with this dub. To them, this is basically the theme of the entire Dragon Ball franchise. For Super, however, in 2020, it seems like Spacetoon used a new song for the opening. It kinda sounds like an updated version of the old one, but it definitely is different. Even if it sounds similar, replacing the classic theme most likely upsets some fans. But for the show's ending credits theme, they used an updated version of that classic song. The opening of the Portuguese dub of Johnny Test is simply a redone version of the Season 1 opening, but I'm including it here to signal boost the fact that the show is actually called Jonathan Test over there.
Test, test, test! Jonathan Test!
The Hindi dubs of Cartoon Network shows tend to have original songs, including Regular Show, meaning over there the show actually has a vocal theme song. Its quality, though, is up to you to judge.
Oh yeah, regular show.
Japanese dubs of American cartoons can sometimes have absolutely slappin' openings, such as the one for the X-Men dub that aired on TV Tokyo. The 2003 TMNT show has some incredible Japanese songs as well. The original is untouchable, but the Japanese opening for the Donkey Kong Country cartoon is also pretty good. International Blues Clues airings can be a fascinating topic, as some versions of the show actually replace Steve and Joe with local actors. The Korean version's opening starts off sounding like the original, but then transitions into a completely different song. There is legitimately an endless amount of content when it comes to dubs of shows. How big is the world? How many countries exist? How many of those countries have their own language? How many have multiple languages? How many people in those countries want to watch cartoons? It can be hard to wrap your head around all this. You'll probably go insane before you understand why the New Adventures of Lucky Luke is called the Cowboy in the Sinhala dub. And there you have it, a look at, or listen to, some of the best international cartoon openings. For how much discussion there is about the properties we've looked at today, I do feel international versions of them don't get much mainstream attention. It's true that the original version of a product is what everyone should experience first, it's what the creators intended while designing their piece of art, but there is a lot of praise deserved for those who can bring works to other cultures. There is so much great international content out there. The world is a very big place. Go explore and see what other countries have done with your favorite shows and properties. Nowadays, with how connected the world is, and how understanding people thankfully are of shows coming from other countries, these types of dub openings aren't as common as they used to be. That makes sense, but I won't lie, I wish we had more of these. It makes things more interesting. At least we still get songs translated for dubs, but do we have a modern equivalent of the German Sailor Moon theme? In that way, these openings are a great reminder of a bygone era, while also being timeless. I'll probably be listening to What's My Destiny Dragon Ball for the rest of my life. Now, I suppose if you don't like techno or Eurodance, a lot of these songs won't do much for you. I myself am a human being with blood pumping through my veins, so I like EDM music, but even if you don't, it's still worth researching what foreign dubs are out there. You'll find stuff you won't be able to believe. Did you know that this whole time Family Guy has been called I, Griffin in Italy? To know there are so many variants of what you love is awesome, but also a little frightening. The world is really big, and it's a little daunting trying to comprehend how much is truly out there. You will never be able to experience all you want in life. There is simply too much to learn. It can be overwhelming. There's so much to consider, but in a way, that's exciting. There is so much out there in the world to see. Websites like the Dubbing Database and the Lost Dubbing Wiki are great places to start if you want to research these. Websites like these can help you track down general info about the dubs, and even some of the localized names of these shows, which can be hard to find online. We are so lucky to have these online resources. Without them, so much of this stuff would become lost media. Hey, someone out there has to make sense of all the dubs of Monsters vs. Aliens. And this is all without even mentioning the additional materials made for international broadcasts. Every fan around the world has their own experiences with these shows. There's a really good video from 2014 titled Dragon Ball Z in Balaidos that takes place during break time of a football match at the Balaidos Stadium in Spain. In it, you can hear all these fans singing the Galician dub version of Shala Head Shala. It seems no matter where you are in the world, thanks to the works of dubbing studios, fans of your favorites are never too far away. And yes, there are plenty of sloppily made dubs full of strange decisions, but there is a lot to appreciate in the art if done well, even outside of the shows themselves. You may never watch some of these shows yet listen to the theme songs over and over again. I know I do. So thank you to the dubbing companies, the writers, the singers, and all involved for giving us so much more to enjoy from our favorite shows.